Welcome to the bull market, baby dolls. We've been waiting one hell of a long time. It's been over 4 years. Is the stock market any of our concerns? No, but I want to show you this anyway. This is a nice table, some say table, and there are a few things I want you to look at. So when we have the stock market, friends, we go off that meme of price to earnings and valuations, right? That's how they measure Johnson & Johnson baby bump powder, how much the company's worth. Now, the stock market, S&P 500, it fluctuates depending on how bearish or bullish the economy and world is on America and going forward, right? And the number fluctuates in terms of how many years do they want to pay for 1 year of earnings, okay? So a very low amount of confidence is around 14. A very high amount of confidence is 26. So it's kind of like if you have a business and the business earns $100,000 1 year. If it was a stock market business, right, a low confidence in it would be costing 1.4 million for the company. That's 14, right? And then very high confidence would be 2.6 million. So you can do that when you measure the S&P 500 in the index. So I'll actually show you that right now. When you look at the S&P, this is what we're looking at right here. So the S&P 500... I forgot how many. So you think about this in terms of dollars. So if you own one S&P 500, $6,300, how much earnings does it get? It gets like, $400 of earnings or $600 of earnings, and depends how the market wants to price it. But if you look up here, right, in the stock market bubble of 1999, it went to 26. Wild, okay? So where we are right now, if you look at the current estimate, where we are right now, we're expecting this wild, the S&P 500 to go to 6864. This is actually big. This is based off just this year's earnings. And if you look at next year's earnings, it could be up to 7,700. Wow. What I'm going to do now is now show you this chart. So if you look at 6,800, this is assuming this year, based off this year's of earnings, where would 2026 take us? 6,800. So the market is pretty much expecting, this is what it's expecting to happen up here. Okay. Do you want to know what's interesting as well? So, and by the way, when we're up here, what was that? 7,300. It's expecting again up here, 7,300. Wow. By the end of next year. That's big, right? So, it might go up and down, and ploop, finishes up like that. Now, that's what the market expects. Now, this is the thing, right? Just because the market expects something doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be right or wrong. Okay. It depends on how everybody's positioned. Like, for example, if you bet on the favorite of a game, let's say basketball team, let's say a team's paying $1.10, okay, which you're going to get barely any return. Just because you bet on them doesn't mean they're going to lose, right? Just because they're the favorites, right? They can win, okay? So it doesn't really tell you anything. It just depends on the odds, right? It depends on how everybody's positioned. That's what I mean by the odds. So with the stock market, something interesting, right? Every year, the market gives about a 25% chance that there could be a recession next year. It's about 25%. That's why everyone's like, about a 1 in 4 chance. And you know what's funny? Do you want to know why it is that? It's because it's actually real in terms of, if you go back the business cycle goes, up every about 4.5 years, down 1 year, So it's kind of funny, right? If you do about 1 on 4, right? It's pretty much out of out of 5 years, right? Assuming this one isn't a recession, so it's looking at the next 4, they're saying, one of them is going to be a recession. So every year you roll forward, the market says, about a 1 in 4 chance recession next year. There's something that's happened recently, though. Based off these estimates, okay, based off this table and stuff, the stock market, it's no longer giving 25% chance of a recession in 2026. It's down to 5%. That's why we're expensive. Yeah, it's pretty much saying 5%. Now, you might say that's dangerous, Sammy, and I say, yeah, it is dangerous. What we'll do is play some Pikachu music for us to accompany us on this journey. It is dangerous. But just because there's a 5% chance based off the market, right, it depends because the S&P 500 is high, right? Just because there's a 5% chance that they think it's going to happen doesn't necessarily mean that, it's not going to turn out good anyway. What it does mean, though, if there is a recession next year, God help everyone. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Another way to think about it, friends, is since we have AI coming, you know why it's actually done that? What the market's doing is it's pricing in AI and everything else. It's pricing in the fact that we're strong with these high interest rates. And you have AI, some say ass intelligence, robotics, the sex robots are coming, quantum AI, all these other things. What the market's done is it says, okay, look, based off all of these, if you roll this out of 100 scenarios, 95 times out of 100, we keep running into next year. 95 times. 5 out of 100 times, you get a worldwide event. You know, that's why it's, you know, only 5% chance of a recession, right? That's why I've written here. With AI running and crypto not being done yet, I think the story is also not done yet. I still think crypto season awaits us. So I wanted to give you that update in terms of what we're actually looking at now. So the stock market's starting to get really bullish, okay? Thank you to Mr. J Plush.
A new form of wealth begins.
Thank you. This is, friends, okay, look, proof that aliens do walk among us.
A new form of wealth begins.
That's Mr. Vitalik out there singing about a new form of wealth beginning. So I wanted to show you that. Now you get an idea of where we're actually moving into. Now, this is the business cycle. See how it still hasn't cranked up, friends? It's kind of like, see, man, the market's smart, man. It knows. It's like, you know what? The business cycle's down this bad, this low. We're down this year. It's pretty much saying this year of 2026, 2027. So what I'll do is this is 2027. This is the box. It's pretty much saying, look, man, you've been down for a long time. Next year just seems like you're going up based off all of these. And, you know, it's pretty much right. When you think about it, it's right in 95 times out of 100. Where does that leave us now? Well, crypto, right? Is it going to have an extended cycle? Of course, betting on the extended cycle has been the widow maker, but, you know, we did get cucked, friends. See, the cycle was meant to start at the beginning of this year, but it went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, man, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you believe that? I'm still in shock, by the way. We got 7 red monthly candles in a row for altcoins, man. This is OTHERS-BTC ratio. This is absolutely horrific. So here we are, finally starting. My gosh, this is just what a nightmare. Okay, where are we going to run into? This is nuts. You know, it is still possible. It goes up here, and then it cuts off earlier. But if you look at the past, crypto tops out first. The S&P 500 stalls up the top for like 6 to 12 months. Then it rolls over. Okay, so that's actually what happened in 2017. And I can actually show you that now. So this is 2017, friends. In here, crypto has a blow off top up here. Crypto literally has the blow off top. And then it's funny. Let's see what S&P 500 did here. Wow, S&P 500 dropped 11%. So this year, okay, the business ISM kept going up and rolling. Okay, up here. I'll actually go back. I'll show it to you now. But it was only at the end of the year that crypto capitulated hard. But this is the S&P 500. See how crypto tops out here. And even though the S&P 500 pretty much, it's going sideways, but you think it's still going up, right? You don't know it's going sideways. It's still like making a new high up here, and crypto is still capitulating. And then everything eventually rolls over. What I'll do now is I'll show you the business cycle so you can have a look at what happened in that last Donald Trump cycle. Here we are right now. Look at this. This is where we are. See the box here? This is at the end of crypto double bubble alt season. Do you see how, look what S&P 500 and the economy did. It stayed business ISM 58 for the whole year. Look at this. It looked fine. Everything was fine. And then what ends up happening is it starts ticking down, and then everyone's in denial, and then here we go back down. But look at this. By the time, look, this is nuts, right? By the time you realize that business ISM is ticking down and it's here, look at this. We're in December 2018. So crypto's already down 95%. Ethereum is down 94% here. Bitcoin was down 84%. This is literally the lows. This was literally the lows. By the time the thing was freaking confirming, oh, the cycle's rolling down, crypto's already bottomed out. You know, that's why you got to be ahead of it. When did crypto top out? It was in the middle of the business cycle here. You see that? That's when it's topping out. Okay. Also, if you look at the business cycle here, by the time you confirmed it was rolling over down, look at this, friends. We're in May 22. Look at that. What happened in May? Lunar. We were already collapsing. See, you know, let's go back and check 2013 as well. By the time you confirmed, oh, it's wild, right? 2013 cycle, look at this. By the time crypto bottomed out, crypto bottoms out first, then the business cycle rolls down. That's wild, man. That's wild. Now, do you want to know what's actually happening? I'll show you. Okay, I've got a trick for you. Do you see how the business cycle, see what happens here? Because I know these dates off by heart. Bitcoin bottomed out here. See how the business cycle goes down? And I'm telling you, so Bitcoin bottoms here. I'll show you this. Bitcoin bottoms here. Let's actually do arrows here. Bitcoin bottoms there. Let's look at 2019 here. Bitcoin bottoms here. We check it out here, right? This is amazing alpha, friends. So we know what to do. And then if you check out when did Bitcoin bottom, you know, I know Bitcoin really bottomed in like that November, but it was pretty much game over for everything here. Okay, pretty much game over here. Yep. So what happens is the economy is turning down, anti-up. Now that the economy is turning down, it means it's contracting. Yes, because business ISM is getting weaker and weaker and weaker because they're checking all the manufacturing data, right? And they're like, oh, we're ordering less, we're ordering less, we're ordering less, we're paying less workers. That's what's happening. That's how these data comes down. This is where the government starts to print. Because they go, oh, we're contracting and we're still contracting. We're still contracting. We're like, the government knows, oh, we've been contracting for a while. We got to start the money printers. We got to start doing the stimulus stuff. That's why, friends, here, by the time ISM has rolled down halfway through, crypto's already bottomed. But then what ends up happening is in this part, you know, this part, what the government is doing now is the government is slowing down the pain. The government's starting to do the money printer. It's starting to do the rolling over of the money printer. And what actually happens is, in this, see this green line? In that period, Bitcoin starts going up. And that, my friends, is the crypto cycle in a nutshell. I've written it up here for a reason. Bitcoin follows global M2 money printer with an 89% correlation. What are we reading? Somi's guiding forces of crypto with 2 fart emojis. Over there. You see that? Let's play some Cranky G music once again. See that? So now you get to see what makes Bitcoin special. You just watched it, okay? You watched it in the charts. Bitcoin is special because when the economy starts rolling down and they start printing money, Bitcoin bottoms and it goes up. That's why. When I do this, this is the money printer. Chugga, 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 okay? That's what ends up happening. You see? Because I know these dates off by heart. What I can do now, friends, is I have now overlay Bitcoin with this business ISM so you can see it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to show you exactly what we're talking about here. So I'm going to bring up the Bitcoin chart. I know because it's a line chart and it's monthly, just so you can see it, friends. But if we go up, you'll be able to see it more accentuated here. You see that? So this is what makes it special. Check it out. See, Bitcoin, friends, tops early with the business cycle. And then by the time the economy confirms it's been rolling over, Bitcoin is already at the bottom right here. If we go to the next cycle again, I will show you it happened again, 2018. Look at this. Bitcoin makes its bottom here. This price is 3,400. It's actually where I was buying as well right before that. Also, Uncle Peter Schiff comes out, says it's going to $1,000. This was Tone Gaze, Monobrow Tone, where he says we're going down to 1K, okay? So it happens right here. So this is funny, right? As the US economy, so the yellow dot is the business ISM. As it rolls down, look at that. Bitcoin's already bottomed out. Because what happens here, this, you want to know what actually happened here, friends? The US Fed announced they're holding rates right there. They go, we're not hiking rates anymore. We're holding. And then we had the run up. This orange line is Bitcoin. This was the plus token Ponzi. You see that? As the economy is still rolling down. So whether it's interest rate holds or cuts or QE or stealth QE, it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. M2 goes up. That's it. M2 goes up. The government prepares to do that, and the insiders get in and they start front running stuff all over again. Or it doesn't matter if you believe it's insiders or not. People come in and they start pricing in the future. And this happened again in 2021, by the way. So it's kind of funny. You see it. Look at this. Look at this. By the time, see this business ISM, friends, it's a value of 53. You know, above 50 is expanding, right? So that's why we're going to know not to get tricked next year. If crypto has gone to mania and everything's gone amazing, we know even though business ISM, let's say it goes up to 58, 60. if it rolls down to 54 and we are like halfway through a bear market, but people don't want to admit it, we're going to know this is completely normal. Because this is friends, this is how markets are amazing, how they front run the future. By the time everyone says it's finally a bear market, look at Bitcoin. When everyone says, you know what, it's finally a bear market and it's over, it's time to bottom out and go for the next wave. Why? Because the money printer, right? Money printer, QE, stimulus, whatever you call it, the TGA, they start turning it on again. By the way, that's the whole fiat system. The whole reason we're on a fiat system is when things slow down, the government tries to dampen it on the way down. They instead of spiking down like we used to do, which I'll show you back what we used to do in the past, right? If you go back, this is what we used to do. Look at these huge spikes down. So the government, they don't like this. No one likes this. Spiking down, spiking up. They try to like smooth it. See how over time, friends, it's getting smoother and smoother? That's what's been happening. It's becoming more globalized. The government has more control over people. And yes. So I'm going to now show you BTC with the context of where we are now. So right now, we haven't even kicked it up, man. Look at this. We have not even kicked it up. That's why it's wild. It's like, whoa. We haven't kicked it up. But yeah, it's wonderful, right? Bitcoin's base value is 120K now. Business ISM hasn't even cranked above 50, right? So, but this is the thing, right? Be careful. People are then going to incorrectly conclude Bitcoin's going to go explosive now because they're like, oh, look how good it did with a crap economy. Okay, just be careful of that reasoning. Just be careful. The market finds a way to basically humble you when it comes to these, okay? We already know that, by the way. So, that's why we're here for the alt season and everything out here. So what I'll do now, I'll just hide his BTC chart. So there you go, friends. Now you know in a nutshell how it all plays out. Crypto, we top out earlier than the cycle does. Okay, we have this explosive top. Everybody gets in, network effects and everything spikes. That's where we have our alt seasons. And the economy does well, especially in the S&P 500. It does well for like, 6 to 12 months. And then we all roll over together. So that's the mechanism of how it all works. So that's why I showed you this table, friends, to give you an idea of, the S&P 500, it's our big macro daddy. Yeah, it's expensive, but it's expensive for a reason. What's the market seeing that the average news anchor isn't? Well, you've seen it now. The market knows business ISM has been this low for this long. It's giving a low amount of odds for a recession next year. It's giving low. Now, here's the thing, man. We could all get majorly trucked. We could. Of course we can. Markets, man, we got absolutely walloped. But this is great because if the market's giving, like right now, it's giving a 5% chance of a recession next year, it could mean that there's a lot of excitement and business return and enthusiasm, which comes and flushes into crypto, which gives us our sky-high prices as next year plays out, But then you're probably going to ask, but Tommy, what happens next year? What are the odds going to be like? I guess we'll see. I guess we'll go out and see. I think we don't need to worry about any of that. All we got to worry about is, like I showed you, the OTHERS-BTC, Ty Lopez turning, maybe some stablecoin super cycle juice. We worry about our stuff because remember, we are early to all that, okay? We rally early, we dump early. Crypto is like hypersensitive to all of that. We are the leading indicator, yeah? So we can't rely on these other things to give us a guide of what's going on. We're going to top out before them. That's what we did in 2021. We topped out way before the NASDAQ as well. We topped out in December. S&P 500 was topping out like 2 or 3 months later, pretty much. I think we topped out in November 2021. And it took the stock market 3 or 4 months to roll over. You know what I mean? That's a long time, right? So like we're going down 50 to 60, 75% on altcoins and stock market's still making new highs, okay? So you now know, right? Crypto, we're the spear. We go first because it's thinner and there's obviously that's all amazing opportunities. But that's why it's scary. You got to fade the crowd because we're the spear. Yeah, you can't rely on anything. We are the spear. You have to fade the crowd at the bottoms of the cycles, and hopefully next, you're gonna have to fade the crowd on the tops, right? Man, it's gonna be great though. Oh man, imagine we have a ping pong coin you can take profit into. Like, subscribe, belly button, all. Catch you in the next one.